Okay, let's go ahead and start read aloud. Did I just say that? I felt like the carpet under my feet was turning into quicksand and I was sinking fast. I grabbed a hold of the bookshelf so I wouldn't fall. But it isn't inappropriate. It's very appropriate. It's a great book. It's my favorite book. I know, honey. I agree. Nobody but your parent has the right to tell you what books you can and can't read. I promise you. I'm going to fight this. But in the meantime, I have to abide by what the school board decides. Or I could lose my job. All I could do was nod. I felt like crying, which was silly. It was like somebody had come into my bedroom and taken my stuff without asking, which was even sillier because it was a library book. Library books belong to everybody. You can help get it back, Amy Ann, Mrs. Jones said. I wiped a tear from my cheek. How? There's going to be a school board meeting Thursday night, and I'm going to be there to tell them all how wrong they are. It'd be even better if they heard it from you. My eyes went wide. Me? Just to hear why you like the book so much would mean a lot. I swallowed hard. Are you crazy, Mrs. Jones? Me get up in front of a bunch of adults and tell them why that book is my favorite book? Do you have polka dots on the brain? I can't do that. That's what I wanted to say. Instead, what I said was, okay. My favorite book and why. The late bus dropped me off in my neighborhood and I stood by the curb, looking down the street at my yellow house. Inside that house right now were Thing 1 and Thing 2, my two annoying little sisters. I closed my eyes and shuddered at the thought of having to spend one more minute with them. You haven't met them yet, but trust me. If there was a prize for worst siblings of the century, Alexis and Angelina would rank right above Fudge Hatcher, Stink Moody, and Edmund Pevensie. And Edmund Pevensie basically sold his brother and sisters to the White Witch for a plate of desserts. Right then and there, I thought about running away from home, just like the main characters in my favorite book. Did I tell you what my favorite book is? The one that got banned from the Shelbourne Elementary Library? The one I said I would go to the school board meeting and talk about? Out loud? In front of other people? It's from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler. I like a lot of other books too, especially Island of the Blue Dolphins, Hatchet, My Side of the Mountain, The Sign of the Beaver, and The Julie of the Wolves. Basically, any story where the main character gets to live alone. Indian Captive is pretty great too, even though Mary Jemison has to live in the Indian village. But I would rather live with Indian kidnappers than live with my two younger sisters. I turned away from my house and looked down the road that led out into the subdivision toward the 4-lane. Papa Taco, our favorite Mexican restaurant, was just 15 minutes away by car. I could run away to there. How long would it take me to walk it? I shook my head. Even if I made it, what was I going to do? And from the Mixed Up Files of Mrs. Basil E. Frankweiler, Claudia and her little brother Jamie run away to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City and hide out every night in the bathroom so that the security guards don't find them. I could hide out in the Papa Taco bathrooms until they locked up for the night. But then I'd just be stuck in a Mexican restaurant all night. Now, if I could somehow get to the library... My dreams of running away died as my mom's car turned into the subdivision and came my way. I waited until she stopped alongside me and rolled down her window. Hey, stranger, thinking about running away? Of course I was thinking about running away. Every day I stand here and I think about how I could fill my backpack with a change of clothes and all the money I have, which isn't much, because you don't give me enough allowance, and ride the late bus until it dropped me off somewhere closer to the mall, where I could sleep every night on the beds in the department store. That's what I wanted to say, but of course I didn't. Instead, I said, no. Mom was lighter skinned than me, with frizzy hair and big dimples in her cheeks when she smiled, like she was now. Hop in, she said. How was school? She asked as we cruised to the 30 seconds to our driveway. I wanted to say, it was awful. My favorite book got banned, and Mrs. Jones asked me to come to a school board meeting and talk about it. And I said yes, and I don't know how I'll ever do it. But instead, I just said, fine. Don't put your braids in your mouth, Mom told me for the millionth time. My whole head is covered in braids, some of them with little beads at the bottom. I suck on them when I get nervous, which is a lot. Mom pulled in beside Dad's truck. I got out and stood by the car, reluctant to go inside. Come on, Mom said. It's not that bad. Oh, yes, it is, I wanted to say. But of course I didn't. All right, guys. I'll put another one up tomorrow. Have a good night.